Hello everyone. Today we're going to be working on our sewing skills. In the last video we reviewed how to sew the running stitch and how to sew the whip stitch. After you have practiced both stitches and you've shown your sheet to me, we're going to begin planning our pattern. So for 4th grade you are able to make whatever you want using our soft fabrics and felt. And here's some suggestions on this sheet just to show you how a pillow like this owl can be created and all of the different pattern pieces that would need to be made. Same with the pencil, same with the cupcake. And so some of these patterns that you're creating can end up being very complex. So on the back of the worksheet, you're going to use this time to just brainstorm, what do you want to make a pillow of? Do you want to make a pillow of some candy? Do you want to make like a peace sign? Do you want to make some sort of a cute animal face or shape? And you can kind of get some ideas down. Once you've decided what you want to draw, you do want to kind of follow these steps on the front. So you're going to draw the completed design and you're going to sketch out what each of those pieces are that you need. So if I was going to do kind of like a little character and add on those details, then I would draw out each of those pieces as something separate that I would need to cut out. And you should label them, ear, nose, face, eye, so on and so forth. After you're done with this part, you're going to get some construction paper and you're going to draw out your pattern pieces life size. The biggest pieces are going to be the body pieces. And so for this character right here, I just need to make one pattern piece. And then that pattern piece will be used to cut out the 2 fabric pieces that I need. So what I did is I drew them out and I actually have them ready here. It's good to label them just to help keep an eye on all your pieces and remembering what they're for. So here's going to be my body, and I designed it so that the arms, the ears, and the feet are all part of the body because I want those to be stuffed. If you are attaching ears later on and they only have one piece of fabric, they are not going to be stuffed. That's something you want to keep in mind. So I do want my whole thing to be a shaped pillow. So I cut one body and I wrote a note, cut 2, because I'll need a front and a back piece for my pillow. I have a face and I marked down how many I need to cut for the face. I have a nose, I have an ear, and this little shape will be my eye. So the ear insert will be 2, and then I'll also have to make 2 of those eyes. So these are your templates, your pattern pieces. Once you have these, you can start to pick out your fabric. When you've selected your fabric, you'll want to grab some T-pins, and I'll move my smaller pieces out of the way. You want to find a piece of fabric big enough for your largest piece. So it might be a piece of felt, remembering that I need to have 2 of these, so the front and the back, and they could be different colors if you want. I found this really cool piece of fabric. I think it was from a pants leg from like, I don't know, it looks like it's like 20, 30 years ago. It's kind of cool. Anyway, so I have this body. And actually, because it's pants leg, this is 2 pieces of fabric, which is awesome. So I'm gonna line up my character, not right in the middle, because somebody might also want to use this fabric. So I'm gonna kind of line it up along a corner. And using those T-pins, because this pattern piece is big and I want to stabilize it when I'm cutting, I'm gonna poke in through both pieces of the paper and the fabric, and then I'm going to kind of turn the needle, the pin, and poke back up through the paper. So the front of it will look like this, and the back will look like that. If you've ever used a safety pin, it's kind of the same idea. And you just put a few on so that when you're cutting this out and cutting the fabric, this does not wiggle. So set in a few pins. When you have your pins set, just make sure that they're all the way on your paper and none of the heads of the pins are sticking off, because we need to be able to cut around that paper edge. Try the scissors at your table first. Sometimes they do cut fabric really well. If you feel like, all right, they do cut, but they don't do the job very good, you can come ask me for some bigger scissors. And we just want to use caution with these because they are sharper. I'm going to cut just like I would with paper. I'm going to cut around the edge like so. And then I can cut around my creature or bear, whatever this is going to be. I can cut closer around the pattern. It does not have to be perfect, okay? It's tricky cutting fabric, something that's soft, compared to cutting paper. And so just do your best to kind of work one area at a time. Okay, I'm going to finish this. For those smaller pieces that you have, like my ear, my nose, and my closed eye shape, you're going to quickly realize that they are smaller than our T-pins. And so what you want to do for the smaller pieces is trace them. And so you'll set them down on your material. I'm going to try to trace this eye first. And so the eye is this little black closed half circle shape. And I found this long strip of fabric. And so anytime you're cutting something small, especially important not to cut it right in the middle, so you want to do it on the edge. And so I'm going to set it down. I'm using a white charcoal pencil and just trying to sketch around it without ripping my paper piece. It's going to end up being a little bit bigger right now, but if you cut on the lines, it should stay about the same size. And so that's how you can handle those small, hard to pin pieces. When you're finished cutting all of your pieces out, you want to organize your materials, put big pieces of fabric back in the boxes for other students to use. Small scraps like this, we don't save, so those you'll recycle. Make sure you keep your small pattern pieces nearby, and you'll begin working with your big pattern pieces. So for this project, we are going to sew either a running stitch or a whip stitch around the outside of your two big body pieces. Then after we get through with that process, the plan is to glue on the additional pieces just to save time. If we had all the time in the world, we would sew all of these on, and we've done that in the past before, but this time around, we're just going to try to cruise through it a little bit faster and just focus on sewing the outside. So we'll be doing that in our next video.